Hey there! Hot on the heels of last week's reveal of the Arc 9 series name, Changing Skies, we have the official blurb, cover, and title reveal of Book 1, and the names of 2 characters that'll be appearing in this arc. I'll start with the character names since that's the least spoilery. Late last year, the 3rd short story contest was held, and one of the prizes was to name a character in the next arc. The character names have been revealed: Shyfrost and Rufus. We don't know anything else about them yet, though based on the Book 1 blurb that I'll be discussing later, they're not point-of-view characters. I think it's most likely that they'd be kitty pets or loners that clan cats would meet, and maybe they'd join the clans, as we saw in the current arc with Wafflepaw, another character named by a fan. By the way, as an interesting side note, the Dutch translation had Firestar's kitty pet name be Rufus instead of Rusty, so I wonder if that translation would change this new character's name or keep it. Anyway, moving on to the book reveal, the title of Changing Skies Book 1 first showed up on Barnes & Noble, The Elder's Quest. Before we had time to speculate much on what this could mean and who the protagonists might be, just a couple hours later, WarriorCats.com posted the official reveal containing the cover and the blurb. So here's the cover. Before I reveal who's on it or read the blurb, I'm going to give a spoiler warning here. It doesn't spoil the end of a Starless clan, but it does include who the Changing Skies protagonists are and explain some plot points that are going to be driving this book and possibly the arc as a whole. So with that said, as far as the cats on the cover, they said that the main cat on the bottom is Leafstar, with Tawnypelt and Crowfeather above her. And finally, here's the blurb. The launch of a brand new arc in Aaron Hunter's #1 best-selling Warrior series finds the clans navigating an ominous prophecy that foreshadows the destruction of the Moonpaw and the end of the cat's connection to StarClan. As Leaf Fair approaches, a new danger threatens the clans. Two-leg construction has encroached on clan territory, poisoning the stream and making prey especially scarce for SkyClan. Meanwhile, their leader, Leafstar, is struggling with a loss of vision while trying to maintain authority over a clan that increasingly doubts her ability to lead. In ShadowClan, Tawnypelt senses peril as the two-leg construction threatens the Moonpaw, but she can't get any cat, especially her son Tigerstar, to listen. Frustrated with the younger cats who don't respect her, she decides to take matters into her own paws. In the midst of the chaos, Moonpaw, an apprentice struggling to understand the mysterious voice in her head, thinks that she might be having visions. But the voice becomes increasingly sinister, and Moonpaw wonders if it's a sign of darkness on the horizon. Okay, so that's a lot to unpack. In my last video, I speculated 3 things that the name Changing Skies might mean, with the least likely being the clans moving, then something happening with Leafstar and SkyClan, and the most likely being StarClan's role changing. From this blurb, it sounds like all 3 might be a possibility. So let's break this down piece by piece. For the first section about SkyClan, it sounds like Leafstar is going to be the point-of-view character. That's unexpected, but I don't think I'll mind, as it's going to be a different role in the clan than just young warrior or medicine cat without much experience. The loss of vision is going to make things especially interesting, though I feel bad for her. The poor she-cat suffered enough in her life without that, and even more problems with their clan's territory. Although I previously thought it might just refer to her death and didn't think Hawkwing would change things much, a combination of leadership instability and territory issues could definitely result in changes to SkyClan. I just hope it means they don't have to move again. That clan's been through a lot. In the second section, Tawnypelt is revealed as the main character. While I did think that it was a reasonable guess that the old friend they mentioned previously would be an elder, I completely expected it to be a ThunderClan elder, most likely Brightheart or Brambleclaw, but not Tawnypelt, so I'm kind of excited about that. Back when the new prophecy was coming out, the first 3 books each had the point of view of a journeying cat plus Leafpaw. Brambleclaw and Midnight, Stormfur, and a few chapters of Feathertail and Moonrise, and Squirrelpaw and Dawn, so I thought that each of the journeying cats would get a point of view, and was looking forward to seeing Tawnypelt as a main series point of view. But of course that didn't end up happening. but it seems like she's finally getting her spotlight now. With Crowfeather on the cover, I'm guessing she's going to him, Brambleclaw, and Squirrelstar to discuss her concerns, since they're the ones who went on the original journey before the Old Forest destruction. And maybe Crowfeather's the one most likely to take action, since Squirrelstar's a leader now, and Brambleclaw's probably going to follow whatever she decides. I don't really see how the clans could stop two-leg construction, so if the destruction of the Moonpool does happen, to me that means either StarClan will be cut off from the clans altogether, or maybe the clans will move again. Either way, it would be a major change to the status quo of the books, but it could open up some possibilities. For instance, while I do like the Lake Territories, I've always felt that the Old Forest was more iconic and had more possibilities, since all the territories pretty much bordered each other and had more landmarks, so a new setting could be better tailored to new plot points. As for the quest the Elders go on that's mentioned in the title, I'm sure it has to do with Tawnypelt's part of the story, since she's the same age as the ThunderClan Elders, and will likely retire by the start of the next arc. The quest the Elders go on might not necessarily be a mission far outside clan territory, but maybe just investigating the Two Legs and working together visiting all the clans to convince them that the Two Legs are a threat. And for the third part, who's Moonpaw? We haven't seen this character yet. It's very well possible she hasn't been born yet. It was nearly Leafbear as of Book 4 of A Starless Clan, with a couple moons having passed since then, and the blurb here mentions Leafbear approaching, so this would be almost a year's time skip from where the books are currently at. It doesn't mention her clan at all, but I think it's likely that she's either a ThunderClan cat or a WindClan cat. Her being from WindClan would fit in with Crowfeather being on the cover, but I do think ThunderClan is more likely, since I doubt they'd do a full series without a ThunderClan point of view. Fans are already speculating that she might be Nightheart and Sunbeam's kit, and her name would make a sort of family theme. As far as the voice she's hearing, it almost sounds like a rehash of the Broken Code and Shadowside situation. Moonpaw's voice could either be a StarClan cat like Ashfur had been, though I can't really picture any that would have sinister motivations, or maybe a Dark Forest cat. As I said in the last video, I'd like to see Mapleshade brought back in some capacity, and we've seen her interact with the living before. Would she do it if Moonpaw isn't a RiverClan cat, though? Maybe, maybe not. She did talk to Tigerclaw in Tigerclaw's Fury, despite him not having anything to do with RiverClan at the time. At any rate, since we know so little about Moonpaw, it's hard to predict her part of the story right now. Overall, this definitely sounds like an interesting mix of plot points. What do you think? Any theories so far, or any part that sounds most interesting to you? A Starless Clan is going to be a tough act to follow, and so far, without seeing any of the actual book and how it's handled or knowing the details, it's hard to say how I feel about it just yet. At least we won't have to wait that long after A Starless Clan ends if the January release date is accurate. As always, I'm happy to see the series continue, and the reveal of a new arc is always an exciting time to be a Warriors fan. I hope you're all well, and see you next time!